Welcome back to Michigan Marksman. Today on the channel we're continuing our shotgun choke testing. So we got our M3000 Stoeger again and the same chokes we used at the 5-yard video. This time we're testing 10 to 15 yards right now. So I kind of paced it off. It looks about accurate to 10 to 15, so we're going to use the same chokes we did last time. So let's go take a look at what the chokes we have. Let's get blasting. Alright, as I said, we're going to be using 12 gauge because, you know, the M3000 is 12 gauge. This is number 8 shot. We got a bunch of these rounds today. We're going to shoot those through 6 different chokes we have. So, let's see if you can see that. Alright, so starting up here, this is a turkey choke. Normal barrel, I believe, diameter, inside diameter for a 12 gauge shotgun is .730. This reduces down, I believe, to like .67 or 8, somewhere in there. Then we got some different chokes that reduce it further and further down to typical barrel size, as you can see here. So let's get started with no choke in the barrel and see what type of spread pattern we get. Let's get blasting. Alright, up first at 12.5 yards, that's what I'm going to call it, I guess, is no shotgun choke. Alright, let's go take a look. Alright, we got our pattern at 12.5 yards. And as you can see here, we got a majority of the target. I'd say we probably got a 12, maybe 15-inch spread here. So that is with no choke. Let's see how adding chokes affects our spread. First choke we're going to use is an improved cylinder choke. As you can see, .720 is the interior diameter there. So it's reducing it down .01. So let's take a shot. Alright, the first shotgun choke we have here is a .72, so a .01 reduction. Let's see how this patterns. Alright, I hit in roughly the same spot, but I would say it's like mostly right here. So as you can see, it's a little bit of a reduction at 12.5 yards. Alright, let's step it up to the next choke. Alright, our next choke's going to be a modified cylinder, .71. So that is a .02 reduction. Let's see how well that spread is. Alright, now we got a .71 diameter choke in here, so a reduction of .02. So let's take a shot, see what type of spread pattern we get. Alright, we got our target here now. Here's no choke, .72. This is generally the spot of .71. Obviously, we can see it's restricting quite a bit better than these other chokes. Let's step it down to the next reduction level. Okay, the next choke we got here is a .7 reduction here. So .03 would be the reduction size. Let's test it out. Alright, so far these shotgun chokes are reducing the pattern and quite nice at 12.5 yards. Next we got a .7 choke in here. Let's see how well that spread reduction is. Once again, we're getting some really good reduction of our pattern. As you can see, it is getting tighter and tighter the more constricted and restricted we get to our chokes. So I think the next one is .695. So let's put that choke in and take a shot. Alright, the next choke we got here is a full choke, .695. So let's see how well that spread is. I'm guessing at one point, like I said earlier, they're going to be about the same pattern at this distance. So let's see what happens. Alright, so far we're getting really good patterns at 12.5 yards. As you can see, it's a little hazy and whatnot today. We can thank Canada for that and their wildfires. It's been nice weather though, so let's take a shot with a 695 reduction. Missed a little high, but we still got a decent pattern. Let's go take a look. Alright, like I said, we missed a little high, but we still got enough on there to get an idea of what that pattern is. Obviously, we're getting tighter and tighter every time, so that 0.695 is doing pretty good. So let's step it down to the next reduction choke. Alright, the next choke we have here is a 0.685 extra fine, I think is that EF. I'm not really sure, but we're going to see how well this reduces our target load. Up next is a 0.685 choke. Let's see how much smaller that spread is compared to the other ones down there. Not bad, actually. Alright, let's go take a look. We got our 6.85 there. As at this distance, I can definitely see the reduction in spread as we're going. At the 5 yards, it wasn't very noticeable. Once we got to the 0.771 area, they all start kind of looking the same after 0.72. But now you can kind of see it's reducing farther and farther at 12.5 yards. So kind of impressive. Let's do the last choke. Typical turkey chokes are like a 0.67, maybe 675, somewhere in there. So we're going to see what this reduction stands up to the other chokes we fired so far. Let's get shooting. Alright, we got our last choke of the day, the turkey choke. If you remember from the 5 yard video, it wasn't as tight as like the 0.6, 9, and 8 chokes. But that was at 5 yards. Let's see if 12.5 yards is any different. Alrighty. So this was the turkey choke right here. And looking at the pattern sizes in comparison, I would say that it is somewhere in between the 0.7 and maybe the 0.695. It might be about the same as the 0.7, honestly. It's pretty close. Obviously you got a tight group right there in the center, but like the 5 yard test, it wasn't as tight as these ones. So I originally thought it was a 0.67, 0.675 or something like that, but I'm going to say it's somewhere in between the 0.7 and the 0.695. Maybe it's like 0.69. Nice, something like that. So all in all, pretty good test results today. All right, we got our 12.5 yard test here today. So as you can see, compared to the 5 yard test that we did last week, we got a little bit better spread reduction at that, noticeable spread reduction with some of our more restricting chokes at 12.5 yards. As you can see here, no choke basically covered the big mass of the target. We got our 0.72 here, 0.71, 0.7 here, and then other 0.69 and 0.68 in our turkey choke. I think now that I've seen this a couple times, I would say our turkey choke is probably like a 0.69 or something like that, somewhere in between. It's definitely not a 0.68 or 0.69. It's a little tighter than that one. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with how well these chokes have performed. I believe most of them either came with the Stoeger M3000, and I bought the rest of them from, I think, Carlson chokes or something like that. So all in all, pretty impressed with the pattern so far. The next videos we're going to be doing is doing a choke test with our Kel-Tec KSG-12. We got the same distances, we got some similar choke sizes. They're going to be a little different than the Stoeger ones, but it'll be a decent comparison. Obviously my Stoeger has close to, I think, a 24-inch barrel, while the Kel-Tec has, I think it's like an 18. So we're going to see how different these spread patterns are come that video. So stay tuned for that video. If you're liking my content so far, definitely consider dropping a like. Also consider subscribing. It definitely helps my channel grow a little bit better. Definitely please consider and help out on that. And as always, like we like to say here when we're about to leave, just keep blasting. Alrighty, thank you everyone.